Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to talk about what I mean by toxic black culture. Stay tuned.
Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Chandler, I happen to know him pretty good. We text every now and again, or we have texted for a few times. And I interviewed him for a Turning Point USA event. I mean, the guy is just the salt of the earth, man. And it's funny because people may think a man who's fighting for a living can't be a Christian, and a man of faith, and a man of meekness, and humbleness, and all that. And Michael Chandler exhibits all of that. And I think he's one of the greatest men that I've ever talked to. And I'll say this, people mad at him because both of his boys or his children are black. Now, I'm going to play his clip, and there's nobody on planet Earth that can disagree with the words that are coming out of his mouth. And I say this every time I go to an event, every time I do a speech. If we can connect with God again, or connect with God in a proper way, the country would not be so divided. It wouldn't be so divided. And I wanted to say this in the first part of the video, but I didn't want to just be so superfluous and turn people off. But it almost made me want to say that, you know what young black boys need? They need white fathers. But I'm not going to say, because that's not exactly what I mean. But they need fathers like this man. And unfortunately, a lot of these young men are raised by single women, or their fathers are just as nutty when it comes to being victims, and you black, so you gotta work twice as hard, and you gotta, why can't a man do what this man does? Why can't a man speak like this man does? It's not that hard, to be honest. It's simple. This type of behavior, mentality, focus, faith will lead to a generation of great men that flourish and that lead and that create families. But for some reason, people will be mad at him for saying what he said. Don't listen to me, brother.
I'm not raising black children. I'm raising children. I'm not raising black men, I'm raising men. And whether you are black or you are white, no matter what race that you are, there are certain things about being a man and being a good man when it comes to character and integrity and safeguarding the helpless and sticking up for those who need it. And being a good man of reputation, none of that has to do with skin color. Everything has to do with the character of the man. The beauty of being a man of faith is we were called for a time and a family such as this. This is exactly how God created us to be. This is exactly how my family unit was supposed to be. Before I was even born, this is exactly how it was supposed to be. Before you were even born, he knew that you were chosen for me and mommy. And he knew that you were going to have your skin color. And he knew that I was going to have my skin color. And there's beauty in that. And it's unique to a lot of people. It might be foreign to some people, but it's absolutely beautifully God ordained. And it's something that is going to be a part of our testimony. It's something that is making impacts through a butterfly effect that we don't even understand yet. Whether it be people that see me from afar, people that see the way that I love you, the differences that we do have compared to if we did have the exact same skin color, the exact same eyes, and the exact same hair. This is exactly the way God created you, and you were created in God's image, and you were created for so much more than you can ever think or imagine. And God has commissioned me and chosen me to be your dad. And the most important thing that I can be is your dad. And I tell him every single night, I whisper it into his ear. And he probably gets tired of hearing it, but I thank him. I'm like, I thank you so much for being my son, and I'm so proud to be your dad.
That's it. I don't even know if I need to say anything else. Why can't men raise their boys like this? That's how I raised my son. My sons are biracial, so technically they're not black. I tell my son, my oldest son is old enough to understand this. You're not black. You're biracial. You are half of your mama, half of your dad. And I tell him that so they don't pigeonhole my boy into saying, you black, so there's all these stereotypical things that mean when you black. I don't want that for him. I'm putting the record straight and saying that you're half and half. Let's start with that if you want to be fair about it. But then let's move on from that. Because at the end of the day, The decisions that you make will dictate what kind of man you are. There were great men in this country that were black. Great men who were white, Asian, African, South African, you name it. None of that skin stuff matters if you don't make it matter. I have been blessed, and so many people that don't look like me have sponsored, have donated, have supported, have helped, have encouraged, have come up to me in the airport. I love you, I appreciate you. One lady came to me and said her husband came to Christ because of something I said on the video. None of them were black. And then I also have black people that come up to me all the time. Every time I fly through the airport, there's black people coming up to me all the time. And I'm not going to even lie to y'all. There's a few times where I was shocked. I remember a guy, he owns a couple restaurants here in the Phoenix Valley. We're in the mall. Dude tatted up, look like a gangster. He said, hey, you be Tatum? And I'm thinking like, oh, I'm going to have to swing on the homeboy. Because a lot of black people have a problem with me. But he said, oh man, I love your stuff, man. We own a couple restaurants here, maybe we should link up. TSA, I was flying international through LAX. So I went to the international thing. I'm at the check counter, dude got dreads and all kind of stuff, and I'm not thinking nothing of it. He go, Big Tatum, man, I love you, man. I love what you do. Every city I go in, black people come up to me everywhere. I love what you do. I appreciate you. Come to my events. You know, so at the end of the day, man, it's just about being a good person. It ain't about skin color. I wish that people would embrace and embody it. Martin Luther King had a dream, and in his dream, we should be looking at the content of your character, a meritocracy, not looking at the color of somebody's skin. And people who invoke his name don't believe nothing he said. Don't abide by nothing he say he believes. Now you can have your opinions about whether that dream was his dream or somebody wrote his dream for him. Regardless, what he said was real. It should be applicable. Nobody cares about the skin color. I'm sick of seeing young black men raised to believe they're victims. I mean, a black man can have $1 million in his bank account, and that man in the society that we live in today believes that he is a victim. He is a victim. Somebody's always out to get you. Mm-hmm. It is a shame that young men are raised like that. I wish that every man would raise their children like Michael Chandler. Every man should be focused on building your boys to become men, good men. The color of their skin does not matter. And a lot of people get caught up in these conundrums. Why? Mm-hmm. Same thing with the spiritual stuff. Why? Why get caught in a conundrum? Why have to jump through hoops and make up stuff? Why don't you just do what's right and be done with it? All right, I'll see y'all in the next one.
I wanted to showcase this video with Officer Tatum because this is the narrative that is making the black culture toxic, because we are not talking about, and I say we as black people, some of us is not just talking about the fact that this is a godly man that is raising godly children after God's own heart. But what we are focused on is the fact that this white man is raising black children, and that's a problem. What about that is a problem? How about the fact, let's talk about the fact that this is a man that is raising godly children. And that's why I wanted to showcase this video by Officer Tatum, because nobody is talking about this. Nobody is talking about the fact that there is a godly man that wants to raise up godly children. What about that? Let's hype that up instead of the fact that and making every single thing about race. I am so sick and tired of hearing about, victimhood with black people. I have to, I have to try harder. I have to do this, and we can't do this. We are in 2024. I did a video with Thomas Sowell, and in the 80s, he was talking about, a young man went up to him, was talking about, we have to try hard. In the 80s. In the 80s, a guy is talking about that, and we are still, in 2024, still talking about mess like that. I do not want to hear about black people being a victim and white privilege and all these other things. I'm so sick and tired of hearing those things. Why don't we take responsibility for the mess that we have created and do better? We need to do better. And so the reason why I did this video is because another video popped up and I wanted to showcase this. And before I put my 2 cents into that, let's take a look at what I'm talking about.
Why do white people adopt black children? It's a real question for me. because you keep throwing them away. Maybe if black mothers would stop having random children with random men without being married and having a family to keep that child in, there wouldn't be so many black children to adopt. Also, while you're on the internet running your mouth, how many children can you adopt? Probably 0, because you don't qualify, because you have to have a family. You have to be financially sound. See, this is how the process works. First, they reach out to the immediate family, any blood relatives, and try to get somebody to take that child. That didn't work. Then they try to find a child with a family they can connect with, same race. That didn't work. And they had no choice but to put the child with a white tea family who was willing to take the child. So instead of asking why are white tea people adopting black people, why don't you ask why are there so many black children up for adoption? Aren't y'all the most educated? Aren't y'all making the most money that any other group of black women have ever made? So why aren't you adopting black babies?
So I got this video from Instagram, the right-wing Angel, and I definitely recommend that you guys follow him because he has a lot of new updated news that just comes out, and he posts it as reels on Instagram. And this is where I got this particular video, and I wanted to put these videos together and just showcase a lot of the toxicity that is in the black culture, and just wanted to talk about that. And I love that this gentleman really broke down exactly what happens in the foster or even in the adoption community, and what actually happens. And I just love that. And so I just want to be able to point out the fact that this person is a godly man that is willing to take care of these children. Okay, and why do we highlight in the black culture a lot of single moms and highlighting, a lot of these narratives, and getting upset about the wrong narrative or even the wrong thing that is happening? And I just wanted to point that out because not a lot of people are talking about that, and we need to start talking about it because it needs to stop. This is what's hurting us in the black community, and we need to stop talking about, a lot of these, why this white man is adopting these black children and things like that. What about we need to lift up this godly man that is helping these children that need help? They need a father, especially a godly father at that. And so, I just wanted to point that out. If you have any thoughts, let's talk about it in the comments below. Do you agree with me that these type of narratives is toxic? These type of narratives needs to stop, and we need to start highlighting a lot of godly Christian men that are willing to adopt these children and teach the teachings of Jesus Christ and God's ways. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment and subscribe to my channel for more. My next video I will be talking about the differences between conservative and Christianity, and we have a lot to discuss on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be blessed.